I came to Los Angeles because of my granddaughter. My granddaughter have a bat mitzvah. She reached the age of 12, she have a bat mitzvah. To celebrate her bat mitzvah, I can hear my grandson talking about the Holocaust. And I say to him, Jacob, ask your teacher, and I want to thank to your teacher that she gave me the opportunity to talk to you a little bit about what is happening in a few days in Israel, remembering the 6 million Jewish people as a guide, not as a survivor. Because and I said to him, do me a favor, ask your teacher, and I want to thank the teacher. She agreed to let me to be on front of you. Guys, to explain the Holocaust is very difficult. It's almost impossible. When you're going to understand the Holocaust? When you're going to have your own children. Until you have your own children, it's very difficult because you can ask 1,000,001 question. But the moment that you have your own child, you're learning the word of responsibility. Today you don't have the responsibility. If you want something, you say, Ma, give me. Ma, do this and do that. And if the parents doesn't want to give you, they're telling you, you have been upgraded. What you have been upgraded? Go up to your room. Go somewhere. But I'm not doing it to you. But I just want to tell you, I hope first of all you understand my English. If you don't understand my English, I'll talk to you in Hebrew. It's easier for me. It's okay with you guys? What is difficult for me that I've been born in Israel to parents who came from the concentration camp. Now you can imagine as a child that go and see every day his parents hugging each other, kissing each other. And when they go to sleep, they close the door. As a child, we can hear in the back the nightmares. How they screaming, how they shouting. And in the morning when we coming and asking, Mommy, what happened? She said nothing happened. She didn't even know. Then you can imagine, born in the country, to parents who came from the concentration camp, from Europe, physically, we've never been inside, but mentally, we've been in. And like this, we grow. And like this, after that, we have children. And like this, after that, we need to continue to learn. And you know for which age the kids in Israel learning about the Holocaust? From the 5th grade. They starting from 5th grade to learn, and then my generation could go to our parents to ask them all kind of questions, and they answer us. You know, I could never came to a point that I can ask my father to take me to see where he was born. He never wants to return back. Then it's very difficult, guys, to explain the Holocaust. But what we try to explain to the Holocaust is that if you would go one day to Washington, and you see in Washington, you can see the Museum of the Holocaust. But when you come to Israel, you're not going to see a museum. In Israel, you're going to see a memorial for the 6 million Jewish people. That when you're entering in, you see something unusual. Boxer tree, St. John's wood bread, about 5,000 planting in the area. Next to each one of them is a plaque of the name of the non-Jewish people that helped to the Jewish people to escape. I heard that Jacob told me, my grandson told me, that you saw the movie Schindler's List. We have a tree of the name of Schindler, and not only that, he is buried in Israel. We brought him to be buried in Israel. We respect those people, and we know of those heroes. And we call them the heroes. Because the street, we call it the street of the righteous. And if we found a person that did it, we brought him to Israel, he planted the tree by himself. And we put the flag. If not, we listed. I want to tell you a story that something happened. One day, coming from Miami to Israel, a person by the name Spiegel family. And they coming to Israel. He's a multi-millionaire. Comes to our prime minister in those days around 1970. He was a woman. Her name was Golda Meir. He come to her and he said, I don't need your money. I don't need nothing. I just want you to give me a place where I can make a memorial for my son. Can you imagine what kind of an answer a prime minister can give to a person like that would like to donate tremendous amount of money in the memorial? You know what she told him? She told him, excuse me, I cannot let you. The reason is because I have another 1.5 million kids that died in the concentration camp. Then what I'm going to do with their parents? What I'm going to do with the other person that doesn't have the money like you got to build a shrine for him? I cannot do it. He was so mad, he left the country and he decided, I'm not coming back to Israel anymore. 1977, we have another prime minister in Israel. His name is Menachem Begin. And when Menachem Begin comes to power, this man came to him and said, excuse me, sir, I want to build a shrine for my son. Begin, without knowing the answer what Golda Meir told him before, he didn't even know that he came before. He told him, excuse me, sir, what I'm going to do with another 1.5 million kids. But if you want, build it, and if you're building the shrine, I'm going to let you to put a statue of the face of your son and his name. More than that, I cannot do. He decided to build. And they gave it to one of the Israeli artists to make the design of what we call the place, the Children Memorial. Now the man, 3 months, the artist trying to think what he's going to do and how he's going to do it. And in the end, guys, he realized that he cannot find what to do, and he decided that he's going to open the Old Testament. He closed his eyes, he put 2 pages from the Old Testament, and he came to the story that is mentioning in the New Testament that Abraham bringing his son Isaac to sacrifice him on top of Mount Moriah. But then God came to him and said, don't touch your son, I just want to see if I can trust you. And I will give you to spread all over the world. All your spirit will go, and the kids that you will have all over the world will be like stars. He said, this is it. Each child is a star. Now when you go into that place, you're listening in 3 languages, the names of all those kids that died in the concentration camp, their age, from where they come, and it's constantly 1.5 million names repeating all the time, 24 hours. But when you're entering in, you're entering into a dark room that in the center, they have 5 candles and the rest is mirror. It's dark, and you can see the whole room is like stars. You can ask me the question, why 5? If you have,
Why 5?
thank you. 6 million Jewish people died in the concentration camp. 1.5 million children died. Why 5 suddenly? If you look at the tradition with the Jewish people, they have the end. You can see on Jewish kids, you will see that they putting it on front of it, turning it upside down. It's against evil eyes. 5. If you want to see it, my granddaughter is wearing it on her hand. It's against evil eyes. Then we're joking in Israel, guys. We're walking on the street and we do like this. It's too hot here. It's too hot. You're trying to give to somebody else, not to give you the evil eyes. That is why they have only 5 candles making it. This is part of Yad Vashem. What is the meaning of Yad Vashem? In Hebrew, Yad is a hand. But in Hebrew, Yad can be a memorial. Shem can be a name of a person. And Shem can be the name of God. And I will give you Yad Vashem. And it's mentioning in the Bible that when you read the Old Testament, in the book of Isaiah, you'll find out that in the book it's written, and I'll give Yad Vashem. They picked the name. You know that if you have any questions, please ask. I'll know to which direction to lead you, because I'm not going to compete with your teacher or what you learned until now. I think that I would like to hear from you something that you are interested in. Now, if you have any question, please ask. Don't be ashamed. Ask.
No one else raised their hand right now. We did have some students who wrote down some questions who maybe weren't going to be able to be here. But if you want to start with some of those, I can write them down. We have questions? Yeah.
How did the Holocaust affect your parents? Like mentally, how did it affect you?
You mentioned the nightmares already, but other than that, how do you think they're experiencing the Holocaust?
It's very difficult to give an answer, because in those days when we have been children, we didn't know that some of them even went to a mental hospital. And you don't know, they raise you. This is how you're thinking that somebody raised you. You didn't know exactly what they suffered. They never told you that. How can you find out? One of the parents was okay. Another one did different. It's very difficult to give you an answer because we are not a psychiatrist and we cannot judge all the time our parents. But some of them, after that, went to a mental hospital. They couldn't handle it anymore. Another question, please.
What concentration camp was your father?
My father came from Romania. He lost his parents, he lost his brother, and he came from Romania that they've been in that camp there.
Was it the Russians that liberated, or was it the Allies? The reason I'm wondering, I've heard a lot of horror from the soldiers who liberated the camps that they just couldn't believe what they saw when they got there.
Asking a very nice question. But I don't think I would like to get in a little bit too deep insight to that, because I tell you why. Many years after that, after the war, here in America, they found in one of the Air Force bases, they found some pictures that had been taken during the war from pilots that had been flying over Europe to see what is happening. And they find out and they saw how Jewish people walking in to a wall, and somebody shooting them. And you can see exactly how it happened. They return, nothing is happening in Europe.
I've heard that there's a lot, I don't know, rumors or whatever, that the Allies and the Russians knew about the camps. going on.
Everybody knew about that and nobody did, because at that time they've been scared to go inside to fight. At the moment that they entered in, and the Nazis did the biggest mistake during the winter time, they continue. And when it snowed, they start, the Russians succeed to do, and the Americans that came after that. And of course, what they saw, they couldn't believe. It depends how you look at it. Guys, wake up, don't fall asleep.
One of our students wanted to know if your parents were married before the Holocaust, or if they met after.
My parents, my father came and they got married.
Was your mother
And
also?
I tell you what, my father-in-law got married in Europe, and my wife was born in Austria. And they're also survivors from the Holocaust. But she came later to Israel when she was born in Austria.
This is a dumb question.
Nothing is done.
There's a lot of, I don't want to say fake news, but there's a lot of news that it never happened. The Holocaust never happened.
Some of our students did want to know.
How, is that one of the reasons you're here to let people, I mean,
No way.
I'm hearing a lot of this, it never happened because it was so bad that people go, that couldn't have happened because it was so bad. And I just wondered what your comment is about that.
I came, as I said to the group before, I came to my granddaughter bat mitzvah to celebrate. I've been in America a few times, been all over. I didn't came to talk. But my grandson, I could hear that he's talking about the Holocaust. Then I said to him, excuse me, if you want the class or the group, talk to your teacher. If she wants to hear a little bit, you want to find out something about Israel, fine. I'm not going, not to preach, not to do nothing. I'm in a vacation. But when I'm going back home, of April 24, I have a group from Chicago, from University of Chicago, of students that coming to Israel after they coming with their professor, study trauma, and the end of the 6 months of study in the university, she's bringing them for a tour to Israel to show them what is the meaning of trauma living in a country that you have survivors, and they're going to talk to survivors, and they're going to other places, and she's bringing them, if you heard the news, Gaza Strip. She's taking them, in my opinion, as an Israeli that have been born and guiding for so many years, she deserves the medal. She's bringing a group of kids that study, they can see, and then after that, they're going to be our ambassadors. They're going to do the job. I'm not the one that came here to try to convince. But let me tell you something. Those who wants to ignore, tomorrow morning they're going to ignore what is happening in Syria. And this is news that you know today. But I don't know if in another 60 years or 70 years, right, from today, somebody will say it never happened. It happened. It's not that we hide it. It's not that we're going outside to announce it. We have, this is the only thing what the Nazis did, if you're thinking of that, is that they did documentary of it. They took pictures. And the moment that they took pictures, it's not that you can say, this is fake. They did everything documents. They want to get rid of the Jewish people. but they will never succeed.
When Israel, was it 47 when it became a country?
48.
Do you know how many of the Israelis were, do you know how many came from the concentration camps? Was it a lot or a little or?
Those who remained had a chance to come. But don't forget what happened in those days. Now, the beginning of Israel starting not in 48. The beginning of Israel starting on the 29th of November, 1947. This is the night of the petition in the UN. We spontaneously went outside to dance on the street. The Arabs declared a war against us. We're still fighting until today. The war didn't end. Now, in 1948, start the State of Israel, on 14th of May, 1948. Friday afternoon, before Shabbat, because the British supposed to leave Israel, to go back, and we did it, that it will be one government on that day. We had only 750,000 people. Now start to come, but came also illegally people. Not only that, some of them went to different countries. Some of them came to America. You have a chance where you want to go. When it was an open door to go to America, it was an open door to come to Israel. Those who decide to come to Israel, Israel became bigger and a little bit bigger and bigger. In 1967, we have only 2.5 million people. The majority of the people in those days are the ones that came from Europe. Then came also from Spain, from Libya, from Morocco, from other countries, came from Iraq. Because of suffering in different places, some of them decide to come to live in Israel. The doors are open to all the Jewish people around the world. If you prove that you're Jewish, you can land in Israel, you're most welcome.
How did your parents start over if they haven't?
What? Say it again?
Like, how did your parents start all over after the transformation happened and they haven't?
In the beginning, from scratch. My father was working, building roads in Israel. From scratch, everything starts from nothing. I never want to wish you in your life that you will come to find out that suddenly everything has been on fire. Nothing. You should wake up in the morning, every morning, guys. When you wake up in the morning, you say happy holiday. We say it in Hebrew, Chag Sameach. You see your face in the mirror, right? You see that you're okay, happy holiday. The rest you can fix. I'm waking up now in the morning, and the first things that I see when I see my face, I look to the right, I don't see somebody standing next to me and pushing me. I look to the left and nobody can push me. I can walk by myself. Hallelujah. What is the rest? You see, I came to see mitzvah, grandchildren, children. Amen. Every day. More questions? Because I can tell you, I can stand here at least for 8 hours and to talk to you because this is my job. But I know maybe you're anxious to go back. You want to go back home, but if you have any other question, it will be my pleasure.
We have one other question that might be a good final question if no one else has one. Some students wanted to know if you had any advice for the current generation, the current world, considering obviously the tragedy of the Holocaust and the idea of never again. What should we do to make sure that we're not going to be part of a generation that sees something like that?
Guys, as long as Israel exists, this will never happen again. As long as Israel exists, it will never happen again, something like that, to the Jewish people. The doors are open. If something happening to the Jewish people anywhere, they will come to Israel. Look what happened in France. Some of them came. Something is happening, they're coming. Israel, I'm going to say, stronger. Israel is a life insurance for the Jewish people around the world. We went even to Antibes, that when they took a plane and they brought it into Entebbe, the terrorists, we sent our troops and they brought them back home. If it's necessary, we'll do the operation. And as long as Israel exists, the Holocaust will never happen. But it's happening to different countries. And the world is quiet. Because we're sitting and we're watching what is happening in Syria, and have a look at the news. What is happening? Where is the world? Look what is happening in Africa. Where is the world? UN. What is the job of the UN? To do nothing. But something against Israel, always they will do.
Any final questions?
Thank you very much. We don't need to clap with the hands. Thank you for listening. And I really appreciate that you decide after school, to come and to listen to me. Thank you very much. I did, besides my granddaughter bar mitzvah, and visit our children and my grandson. I really thank you very much for letting me to speak. No problem. Thank you.
Thank you so much for being here. We appreciate it.